Hey Mexicans, welcome back to this new video where today we're going to be looking at WICSO restarted again. So yeah, with that being said, we will begin. So first up, against all odds, fascism comes back. But it's not the same as before. It's going to be a modern implementation of fascism. Has the same color as yeah, okay. Welcome to the new fascism. The one that believes that they should own the entire world. And Russia is the first one to implement this, but they're not the only ones. As we see, this Austro-Hungarian country implement it, Catalonia implement it, the Dutch, and then finally we see Vietnam implement it. Of course, the ideology map isn't really exactly that much up to date. At least in some areas more than others. I mean, we know this one's a democracy though. You have to center this one more and make it bigger. Yeah, but it is a democracy. But yeah, now with that being a little more up to date, now we can begin to see how these countries end up expanding. So we kind of see that the global order is kind of there, but the global order decides to kind of pull itself out of this global, like the fascist countries decide to pull out the global order. So this includes the Russians, the Austrians, the Austrians, this country, and then Vietnam. Not because they don't believe with the whole alien invasion thing, but they do not want to aid all these democratic countries. Instead, what they do is they form their own alliance. Their own alliance, I mean. Let's welcome the 6-Point Star Alliance. I don't think I've ever done this one before. No, I haven't. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. I've actually never done anything like this. The countries that end up joining it are the ones that have the ideology of Russia. Said countries are this one, Catalonia, the Dutch, and then finally the Vietnamese. This is a military alliance, but it's also designed to be an expansionist alliance too, filled with expansionists. So in any expansion war, the rest of the alliance will aid. So hey there, Austria, you ready to be? Hey there, Farmers Union in Rome, you ready to be expanded again? So yeah. The Austrians declare war on these two, and the rest of the alliance comes to the aid of Austria. First, I decide to go after their weaker target. Yeah, that would be the Farmers Union. Yeah, we see the former lands of Adriatica go back under these under the influence. Let's just see the capital of the Farmers Union get integrated. And then Greece itself kind of declares independence, and it's recognized as such. And then we also see that the Dutch here, the Dutch, the Catalonians, and the Austrians do a tag team of these three. So Brittany's the first target. They capture that. Then Green France is the next target. They want to try to get their Mediterranean access back, which is successful. And then the remainder of the territory goes over to the Catalonians. And then what remains is the Romans. We'll also do a split here. Now, not all this land will go over to the Austrians or the Dutch. This is just the occupational borders. So now we will take a look at the actual peace treaty. So in this peace treaty, we see that the Green French are split between the Dutch and the Catalonians, and the Brittany countries kicked back to all the way to Brittany. And you also see that the Romans are kicked out of some of the Mediterranean as the Dutch gains back their sea access here. And the Austrians came back the little northern Italy part, along with along with pretty much all of the core Adriatica, aside from like a couple things. What the hell? Okay, the religion is definitely not right anymore. What the hell is that? Okay, whatever. That being said, though, now we will see things happen in this region as the Russians want a lot of this area back. The Austrians will help, of course, seeing as the Austrians, they are land hungry, like everyone else in this alliance. So the Russians push in from their end. They get a lot of land, but the Austrians will get some of it. And the Russians will award them with some territory. They're just not going to be getting all of it. So we'll take a look at this peace treaty. Okay, so we see that that in the peace treaty, the Prussians are also included in the deal, and Russia gets Russia gets some of the land, but Austria gets some of the land too. Also, I realize this little jutty out bit, I don't exactly like that. Let me see if I can fix this. Passable. Way passable. But yeah, with that being said, this Austrian country forces these two German states to join. Of course, they say yes, because what the hell else can they do? So yeah, now we see that the Austrians have all of Germany. And so, yeah, the Austrians are bigger than ever. Bigger than ever. However, we then see that the Vietnamese will decide to expand now, too. As we pretty much just see the Vietnamese go into China. And since China wasn't exactly developed into a strong country yet, they're going to ultimately succeed. And seeing as the Chinese are distracted in the south, the Koreans also decide at this point that this is a perfect opportunity to regain some land. So yeah, they push in from the north. They want to try to get to China's capital before the Vietnamese can, just so they can protect as much of it as possible. But yeah, we see that the Koreans are rebuilding their empire slowly. Yeah, the partition line looks something like this, with the Koreans getting a lot of the valuable stuff in China, but southern China does ultimately go to Vietnam. And now we will take a look at a peace treaty where we see China get divided. So in this peace treaty, we just see the Koreans and Vietnamese completely eradicate China, as it's all just Korean Vietnam. But one more thing that's going to be happening is the preparation of a big thing. As this whole order has had enough of the old empire. They're tired of seeing it come back. They want it gone. So we see that the Persindians joined back under Russia's alliance. And we see that their ideology converts into this fascist ideology. And now we see that the Persindians declare war on the old empire. And you may think that this is a victory in the park for Persindia, right? As they have essentially cemented victory here. Well, that's where you're wrong, kiddo. Because secretly, the Caspian Green Country recruited the old empire into their alliance. Now, you might be wondering, why would they do that? What isn't the old empire kind of an enemy? They don't think that anymore. As the threat of the world with these countries and then the alien invasion, they're like, okay, dude, we've got to get rid of this fascist threat before anything else bad happens. So that also means that the Trapezoid Alliance declares war on the fascist bloc. And yeah, that's not a good matchup. And then not only that, but there's unlikely allies that join up too. Like for example, Korea joins. They want their old land back. Plus Plus, they do not like the Vietnamese. That's literally it. But yeah, the Russians are not winning against this coalition, nor the Austrians. But wait, there's more. There's more to this. As more unlikely countries that join, such as the Farmers Union, they only joined because they lost a bunch of land to Austria. And so they're public enemy number one when it comes to Austria. That also means that with the Farmers Union joining, the Romans also join. And then the Greeks feel absolutely threatened because, well, this alliance helped free Greece from the Farmers Union. So then they will all of a sudden join this alliance. And yeah, now we just have another world war. I've kind of lost count of which world war this is. But I'm going to be for real. We're going to save this for the next episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a new video. Peace out.